You're still watching Daybreak on Trust Television. Now it's time for us to get into the conversation proper. I did say before the break that, we're going to talk about the PDP NEC meeting yesterday. There was a pre-meeting from the Northwest stakeholders, and then yesterday was the D-Day. That was the 18th of April 2024. And of course, we saw light drama ensued between some members of the PDP, but they were able to come to a consensus, and the meeting was attended by more than 300 PDP members all over Nigeria. The likes of the 2023 presidential candidate, PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar was present, and also the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, was also present at the meeting. But discussing what transpired and what we can make of the meeting, and in preparation for the major event actually later on in the year, we're being joined by from Kaduna. Umar Sani is a PDP chieftain and the former spokesman of PDP Presidential Campaign Council. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
You're welcome.
All right. We also have here in the studio the Deputy National Youth Leader of the People's Democratic Party, Timothy Osadolo. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the program this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on your program.
All right. So, yes, PDP had its NEC meeting yesterday. A lot of people were expecting. Now, let's start from Malam Umar Sani now. There was some sort of a slight controversy about the leadership of the party. Damago was in the news a lot of times, even before the meeting. Now, how did you arrive at a consensus to allow the current national leadership to continue, contrary to the provisions of the party's constitution?
Well, I don't think that what you did was contrary to the provisions of the party. The PDP is a very organized party. It is a party that has respect for the rule of law. And so it's a method of internal democracy. It's so that it respects its rules, as embedded in the party's constitution. Now, the issue is Damagum did not, from the blues, from the sky, fall to become an national chairman. There was a process that led to the removal of Dr. Yahaya from the position, and that was a court process. And in respect for the rule of law, party had to wait for the court processes to be exhausted before Dr. Ayu would return to his seat or whatever the court decides. However, our constitution is very clear. Where there is a vacancy, or that somebody has resigned, or somebody has left the seat for one issue or the other, the next person that will take has been defined by our constitution. And in the case of the national chairman, it is the deputy national chairman from the zone where he comes from that takes over the responsibility, pending either the return of the substantive chairman or the appointment of a new chairman.
Okay, so make us understand now. Make us understand. You did say that it wasn't against the constitution, but there was a pressure that's been mounted on NEC to replace the acting national chairman with somebody from the North Central. Give us a sense on, or make us understand how this came about and how it's working against the party.
Yes, the party has a zoning formula, which is adhered to. When in 2015, Adamu Muazu, our national chairman then, resigned, he was replaced by Alimodu Sharif, who comes from the same zone with him. And of recent, our national leader, died, and she was replaced, from South, in fact, from Cross River State. And in the Southwest, our zonal chairman died, and he was replaced by somebody from the southwest. So it is the pattern of our party to always do such replacements. And the reason why, like I told you, that the Magun could not be removed is because the matter was in court. Now that Yocha Ayu had withdrawn the matter in court, then there is no more litigation. And so the North Central are now clamoring for the fact that they should be allowed to complete the tenure, which is, of course, their right. And in that spirit, the NEC decided, okay, go and put your house in order. Go home, do a selection process, bring somebody in August, and then we will ratify him as substantive national chairman. And therefore, there is no cause for alarm. Because, in fact, we only heard of the withdrawal of Ayu before the NEC, maybe a day before the NEC. So the NEC could not have appointed somebody when the zone, which was supposed to bring, to go and sit down and select somebody and bring to NEC, had not done so. So NEC had to now say, okay, go and do it and bring it. And so there is no controversy, there is no cause for alarm.
Okay, so let's come back to the studio here. The PDP national youth leader is actually here. And of course, you know the drama that ensued between a former governor and Dino Melaye, and a lot of things surrounding the NEC meeting. So there was this concerns around the capacity of the acting chairman to unite the party and hold to account those who worked against the party in the last election. How true was this claim? And how did it affect, the NEC meeting entirely?
Well, the drama that ensued between Dino Melaye and Governor Samuel Otom was quite unfortunate, because at the end of the day, you don't cut your nose to spite your eyes, and you don't pluck your eyes to spite your nose. We have all erred one way or the other, and in the spirit of genuine and true reconciliations, I believe that what is paramount now is the task ahead of us. I believe even Dino Melaye and Governor Samuel Otom will admit to themselves and to the whole world that none of them is perfect. And if none of them is perfect, then who are we to judge ourselves? What is important is that Nigerians are looking for those that will help them ease the trauma and the psychological distress that this country is going through, and by extension they themselves are going through. They're not interested in who insults each other the most. They're not interested in who can talk in foul languages the most. What's important is that Nigerians are looking for a credible platform that can provide the much needed, desired leadership that this country has lacked for a very long time. And about party administration, if you must know, party administration is one of the most difficult enterprise ever, because emotions will always come to the fore. People want to push their own narrative here or there as to how it affects them, as how it doesn't affect them. But in all of this, we must not take our eyes off the ball, which is that good governance is required by Nigerians, and the party PDP as a political party is the most credible platform that Nigerians believe can provide good governance. And as to the administration of the PDP, yes, no one is perfect, but on the scale of 1 to 10, has Damagu done well? I'll give him a 9. Because
out of 10?
Out of 10, I'll give him a 9. Because to manage a party like the PDP, where you have former this, former that, it's only former God you don't have as a member of this party. Everybody that has been somebody in this country is a member of this political party, and they all want their interests served. But if this man could have managed this party since the protracted court case of Senator Dr. Yahaya to this point, and the party has not imploded under his watch, you don't longer hear of the gale of I suspend you or I counter suspend you. There's relative calm in the party, and people are now seeing reasons to come back home. It is because the home is accommodating. Even as a Christian, my faith tells me that the Bible or Christ is even more interested in the prodigal son or the prodigal child. So at the end of the day, there is no one member who's more important than the other, because I can't do it alone. Neither can the other member do it alone. It's our collective strength across the country that brings about the much desired results that were strong governance for all of us. So I think on the scale, on the basis of unifying party members and trying to reconcile aggrieved members or non-aggrieved members against perceived aggrieved members, I think Ilya Damagun has done very well. Then for those that have their argument for their zone to be completed and all of that, I think my leader and the other statesman who spoke earlier has done sufficient justice to their aspirations and their clamors by the way, through his position on how things are. Like he said, that is the true position of things. So there will be nothing for me to add or subtract on what he has said on that particular issue.
All right. Alhaji Umar, let me come back to you now. Let's just streamline it now and start. I probably will mention names. And I know that the NEC, according to the meeting yesterday, reconstitute various committees, including the one of discipline and reconciliation. Are they positive that this committee will be able to cap sanction members? For instance, the FCT minister, Yesam Wike, who have been, by some quarters accused of probably romancing the APC and working for the APC. Is there any way that, there will be sanctions or there will be some sort of punishment meted on members who have been perceived to be enrolling on anti-party events or doings, so to speak?
Well, from this morning on an international radio program, I was able to hear the national chairman, Umar Ilya Damagum, saying that they have drawn a line, which means henceforth anybody engaging in anti-party activity will be dealt with decisively, but that there has to be genuine conciliation and integration in the party. That is a commendable feat, because we even offend God and He forgives us. But my major concern, is that some people have already said they are going to do anti-party in 2027. So that means we have a future anti-party, in our hands. Now, how do we handle that? How do we handle somebody who has already declared that I am going to support the renewed hope agenda in 2027? I'm going to support Bola Tinubu in 2027, which means that if our party produces a candidate in 2027, the person or the people will not support that candidate in 2027. That is the issue. The issue is not about what has happened before, but what will happen in the future, because our desire and aspiration is to be able to dislodge the APC. And some of our key members are now pledging their loyalty and allegiance to the APC and saying they are going to work for the APC in 2027, which is in the future. So these are issues we have to tackle. This is very important.
Okay, so you are the Deputy National Youth Leader, and they say the youth contributes a lot to the development of any committee, any cycle, any organization. And now we're talking about the PDP. Now, what's the position of the youth with what's happening with some of our elder statesmen in the PDP?
Well, I must tell you that the youth constituency of the party is not particularly happy with these developments, because we believe that the energy with which we throw words and do things that are not in the overall best interest of the party prior to now or prior to yesterday's NEC was not necessary, because we believe that our future as youths under this platform of the the PDP was not being guaranteed with such big hearings. But now that NEC has assuaged most of these challenges, so to say, as at yesterday, we want to believe and give them the benefit of doubt that going forward, the party will be more united in championing the causes that we believe in, which is good governance, advocacy for the youth to become part and parcel of those who decide what happens within and outside the party. True, when I say within and outside the party, within the party's hierarchy, outside the party, when we form government. So that is what I mean, that the youth of the PDP look forward to. You see, we have tremendous capacity, human capacity amongst our youth, well developed and well schooled and grounded youths who can take on leadership within this party. Time and time again, this party has shown, or the youth of this party have shown, that they are not at a loss when they are entrusted with positions of governance or leadership. So, and the only way those trainings we have gotten over the years can be made manifest in the best interest of Nigeria is when we are in governance. Nobody can grow, so to speak, or espouse the learning or trainings he or she has acquired when you are idle. It is when you are saddled with the responsibility of leadership or a leadership position that people can truly judge the stuff you are made of. And that is why we are clamoring that PDP must put itself together so that we can take the seat of governance and we have the opportunity to showcase the leadership skills or skill sets that we have acquired over the years in this country and beyond. Because at the end of the day, this country belongs to the youth of this country. If you look at the demographic records of this country, over 55% of this population, of the population of this country, if I may put to say 58% of the population of this country are young men and women who are below 45. So if such a huge chunk of this population of this country are young men and women below the age of 45, it means this country and the tomorrow of this country belongs to those of us who are in this age bracket. So therefore, policies that are going to be made in this country should flow from us. Policies about our today, policies about our tomorrow cannot be entrusted to those who are closer home to their God. So therefore, we must, as a matter of fact, be at the front burner of these decisions-making centers. And where are these centers? Government houses, government offices, and policy institutions of government. But we cannot be there to lend our voice if we are cut off as an opposition party.
Okay.
So therefore, it's in our interest that the PDP comes back to power and the elders bury the hatchet and we'll work together to retain power.
Of course, the elders have a lot to, teach the youth, especially for a political party like PDP. Some of the things we saw yesterday, Alhaji Umar, was the rebranding of the logo, and we saw, the design of the new party logo, of course, which I just mentioned. And someone would think that, you're designing a new logo and you're rebranding some things, constituting committees for reconciliation and discipline. Do you think that this will change the mindset of many Nigerians who hold the opinion that PDP led to the foundation for the problem that we're facing in this country?
Well, I don't think that Nigerians believe that PDP led to the foundation of the problems the country is facing.
But a lot of people have said that.
Most times, Nigerians remember PDP with nostalgia. They remember the good old days when PDP provided good governance, PDP provided economic prosperity, PDP provided security, and PDP provided anti-corruption measures. Don't forget, it is the PDP that set up all the institutions that are fighting corruption in this country. The ICPC, the EFCC, the National Intelligence Finance Unit, and even strengthened the police anti-corruption department in the Nigerian police force. So PDP has laid a solid foundation. It was only during PDP that Nigeria became, a number one investment destination in Africa. It was during the PDP that Nigeria became number one economy in Africa. So it was PDP that had brought independent power plants, so many other, thermal power plants within the country. So I don't think Nigerians fail to, acknowledge that PDP had done so well for Nigeria, as to the fact that they will now say all the problems of Nigeria. Of course, you don't expect the opposition, the ruling party, not to castigate us. They have been castigating us, but have Nigerians agreed that by the problem? No. The general consensus is that APC has to go, because APC had multiplied the problems of Nigeria to the extent that Nigerians are no longer poverty-stricken. Inflation is now at 3.5%, and so many other issues. So I think that perception or that assumption, if it ever existed, is totally misplaced.
Okay, so let's take a look at holistically about the activities of the PDP in the just concluded election. That's 2023. We saw how that played out in Plateau State, of course, and then we had issues of conducting primaries appropriately before the election D-Day. Do you think that this NEC meeting has been able to resolve that issue, or the constitution of committee will be able to resolve that issue before the next election? Ondo is by the corner, by the way.
Well, you see, that issue was misinterpreted by the appeal court to mean that it's a problem.
Why do you say
the
that,
Supreme
sir?
Court had looked at it and, because the Supreme Court had upheld the election of the governor. All the people that were affected by the appeal court judgment were those whose appeals were only, supposed to end at the appeal court. But the Supreme Court, the governor was affected by the judgment of the appeal court. But when he went to the Supreme Court said that there was no problem, because one, it was not the state chapters that organized primaries. It is the national headquarters of the party that organized primaries. So the national headquarters was intact. It had no problem. So whatever problem that was there and existed in the state should not affect the primaries of the PDP. And so I think the Supreme Court already laid a solid foundation to it, and we do not expect it to manifest anytime again.
Okay, so and now the current struggle for the PDP, actually by two heavyweights, is geared towards 2027. Election is coming, and from statements that have been released, from PDP, the PDP is talking about taking over Aso Rock come 2027 to lift Nigerians out of whatever economic hardship or whatever they're going through right now. But we have two heavyweights who are geared into 2027. Do you see this fizzling out anytime soon, or no, the NEC is going to take care of this, or it's peace in the graveyard? How is the PDP going to tackle this issue when we start having the convention and then we start having nominations, and at the end of the day have a candidate to represent the PDP in the presidential election come 2027?
What are the two heavyweights you're mentioning? When you say two heavyweights, I am at a loss. What are the two heavyweights, please?
Yes, when we have a lot of people, like during the convention for the last election, some people wanted to have take the tickets, hold the ticket for the PDP. We saw how that panned out. Some people were aggrieved at the end of the day. So is the NEC going to take care of this before we start having people coming in?
Because you have not been able to, you started by saying two heavyweights, so you didn't put names to it. The PDP is a formidable platform where every credible candidate that genuinely has aspirations is welcome to. The truth is that people believe that when you have the ticket of the PDP, you are 50% assured already that you are likely going to become the next president of this country because of the structures the party has across the country and because of the vast followership that the party enjoys amongst Nigerians. The truth is that this is just 2024. Nobody amongst all of us living today, God has shown the certificate of existence for tomorrow. So it's too early to say what will happen in 2027 or what will not happen in 2027. What is important to me and I believe to the leadership of the party is to first get our party right, get the party running as it should be, and let's sell our manifesto to Nigerians. And like the elder statesman said a little while ago, Nigerians remember with nostalgia the good old days. Let them actually believe, compare and contrast and become more convinced of the need to not chase APC out of power, but to chase them out of our political lexicon by the way they will vote for PDP and our candidates in the next coming elections. But until we get the party right and get our structures running, it's too early for me to start running commentary on what will happen in 2027 when I don't even know what will happen at 5 o'clock this evening. So let's not unnecessarily run ahead of ourselves. The party is doing NEC. We have proposed another NEC for August 15th. And there'll be a national convention next year. Who knows what's going to happen next year? Who knows what will happen tomorrow? Even now that we're in the studio, who knows what will happen in 1 hour time?
But someone can say that, before the next election, the preparation starts after the last election.
See, a formidable political party like the PDP has leaders, has a PDI that develops policies for the party, manifestos that the party will run with, has the BOT, has NEC. Let all of these organs of the party, has the National Assembly caucuses, the state chairman caucus, different caucuses. All of these must first fine-tune the working relationship and have an agreed formula as to how the party, what is the messaging of the next elections, what is the campaign strategy, until all of these things are put in place and who are going to be the drivers of the administration. Mind you, 20 years we are talking about this set of NWC and leaders we have will not be available after next year's convention. So do you know the policy direction or the thinking or the mentality of the next set of the NWC? So when I say some of these things are too early, we should not run ahead of ourselves. Let's take things one step at a time. First, it's good. The chairman has said, let all bygones be bygones. The leadership of the party has said, let all bygones be bygones. Now a red line has been drawn going forward. Let's see who are those that will start acting against that red line or the perceived or stated red line. The point is that beyond the red lines, the internal integration of members, re-healing processes, all of this must bear fruit before we start talking about or canvassing for any individual or group of individuals. First, we must get the soul of our party back, and we must put the consciousness of our party in the heart of Nigerians. That is where, that is when and only when who will succeed as the flag bearer of the party can start coming up. I welcome all aspirants that want to run on the flag or with the flag of the party to join in these rebuilding processes. Until we have a party, your flag will be useless in your hand. So let's first have a party.
All right. So on a final note, Alhaji Umar, let's get your thoughts on what the PDP or what Nigerians should be expecting. PDP has put its foot on the ground that their aim is to come fix Nigeria and take over Aso Rock. What should we be expecting in the coming days as per implementation of some of the decisions that have been made in the NEC meeting?
Well, Nigerians should be expecting a very vibrant, well-focused, and a party that is ready to take power. The Nigerians should expect that when PDP gets to that position, there will be transparency in governance as it used to be, and that PDP is the only antidote to the misgovernance of the APC, and that it is with PDP, whom they have known earlier on, that they can have confidence and they can have their trust, in belief that PDP will at all times deliver the goods. So Nigerians should give the need support to PDP so that PDP will return them to the good ways and that Nigerians will continue to enjoy the dividends of democracy.
All right. Thank you very much for being a part of the show this morning. Alhaji Sani Umar, all the way from Kaduna. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
And also in the studio here, we'd like to say thank you very much. Great representation of the PDP youths here. And we look forward to the youths of the PDP doing great things in every elections, even before the convention that will come later. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on your program.